I just wanted to talk about the movie The Crow. This film was directed by Rupert Sanders. It stars Bill Skarsgard as Eric Draven. It stars FkA Twigs as Shelley Webster. And it's pretty much about, if you've seen the original Crow, Eric was murdered with his girlfriend. They come back to life. Well, Eric Draven comes back to life to avenge the murder of him and his girlfriend. Well, this story is a little bit of the same, but a little bit different. This version, it's about he meets Shelley in like some kind of rehabilitation center, and they fall in love, and you get to know Eric and Shelley as a relationship a little bit more in this version. Not saying in the original that it's not a masterpiece and you don't have to, but it's just interesting to see them develop and show more of the relationship between them. And so Shelley is basically in this version on the run because she was involved with a murder that was recorded and put up online. So this guy, who is played by the guy from X-Men, and he was in 30 Days of Night. He played that badass vampire. In this version, so like I was saying, Shelley, she was involved in a video that she murdered a man, and the guy from 30 Days of Night is kind of like he made a deal with the devil, and he convinces people to do acts that they shouldn't and would never want to do. So Eric and Shelley get killed, and now Eric has to come back from the dead. So Eric comes back from the dead, and he wants to avenge their deaths, but he comes back into the land of the living. It's kind of like a land of the, like, purgatory, where you're stuck inside a whole different dimension, and their souls are stuck in this like wormhole kind of. So like I was saying, they're stuck inside this wormhole. Shelley is in a deep, deep, like bottomless ocean where she is stuck there because she was a killer. She killed someone. Eric wasn't involved with a murder. Yes, he's down in this area that is the land of the living, like kind of like a purgatory slash wormhole. So he didn't kill anybody, but he was with her, and so he was stuck in the same place as her. So the guy, who kind of reminds me of the Skull Cowboy from the comics, and he was in a deleted scene in the original Crow film, but he's played by an Indian actor, and he kind of looks just like the Skull Cowboy. He acts like him, and he's the guy who brings you from the land of the living back to Earth. But also, the Crow is what carries your soul back, though. He's kind of like the gatekeeper, the Skull Cowboy. So, but he's called something else in this version, though. So anyway, Eric is stuck in between worlds, trying to get Shelley back and fighting to bring her back. And this movie, I really love this movie. I think that Shelley, played by FkA Twigs, she's a songwriter and singer, and I think she does a great job in this movie. She's really pretty. I'd say really pretty, like almost almost unbearable to look at because she's so gorgeous. Like, it's hard to not want to go out with her and date her. My girlfriend kind of looks like her, which is kind of weird. But Bill Skarsgard, there was a whole bunch of casting choices before he was cast. You had Jason Momoa, Mark Wahlberg, Bradley Cooper, Luke Evans, and many others. And the movie just never got off the ground. But as soon as Bill Skarsgard came on, it definitely got put into full throttle to be made because Bill Skarsgard was so popular with the It franchise, so they wanted to make the movie finally. And I'm a big fan of the Crow films, as even the graphic novels. I'm a big fan of the Crow graphic novels. I'm a Crow fan. Like, pretty much my entire appearance has never changed ever since I've watched the original. Like, everything about myself and everything I do in life pretty much centers around loving the Crow. I've even grown up wishing that if I died, I can come back from the dead and, like, be like the Crow. I've dressed like the Crow thousands and billions of times. And the original is my favorite movie of all time. So, like I said, this was a fucking awesome movie. Bill Skarsgård does a great job, but in this version, he doesn't have the makeup on the whole movie. Like, it's kind of like, if you're a Joker fan, you would love this. Because in the movie Joker, he doesn't really put the makeup of the Joker on until the end. Or kind of like, sort of like Batman Begins, because it took him almost an hour to be Batman in that, or even in some other movies, a superhero takes a while to become the hero at the end, and it like pays off, and when it shows him finally put on the makeup and finally put on the iconic costume, and he does a great job. I think that this movie is not even a remake to me. It doesn't act anything like the original. It has elements from the original films, but it for sure isn't a straight up remake where they're just, doing scene for scene. And I actually really commend the movie for trying something completely different and really, really enjoy what they've done. And I've seen it multiple times now. I'm actually kind of addicted to the movie just so much as the original films. And I really can't wait to see if they ever do anything else with this movie. Do I think they will? No, because not a lot of people liked it. Nobody likes the sequels and nobody likes the remake. So I don't think we'll ever probably get another movie for another 20 to 30 years. If that, maybe a direct-to-DVD sequel, but that's not going to happen probably either. And if that did happen, it definitely wouldn't have Bill Skarsgård. So, I think that when he finally goes after the people who murdered him and his girlfriend, it kind of slowly builds because he doesn't have the ability or knows how to use his ability, kind of like a traditional superhero film where he's kind of growing to learn his abilities. So once he figures out how to learn his abilities, he becomes kind of like an assassin. And it's more like he's like out there trying to resurrect himself and his girlfriend who he met, that he fell in love with. And it's a great story. It's a great you do have the pretty much same idea. Two people die. The guy loved his loved one and comes back to avenge them. It has the outline, but it's not the same story. This movie kind of reminds me a little bit more of the third film mixed with the second movie, because even in the second movie, Judah puts on makeup, drinks the blood of the crow, and fights Eric as his own version of an evil crow. In this movie, the devil, or whatever you want to call him, even puts makeup on and kind of like sucks Eric's blood out through his body and becomes his own version of the crow as well. So it's a lot like the second movie with that aspect, and the third movie's aspect is that he looks a lot like the dude from the third movie. And, you know, I'm not going to say that people should love this movie, but at least people aren't rude when I say I like the movie and not shitting on, oh, you're not this, you're not that if you like the remake. Because I'm going to say this until I'm fucking 90 years old. The Crow is my favorite movie. The original is my favorite movie. I like the second film. I like the third film. I think the fourth movie isn't horrible. The TV show is good. And I like the new remake. And I think that it has pretty amazing visuals. When he finally puts the crow makeup on and dresses like the dude from all the other movies, he looks badass. Does he have long hair? No. I don't think that really matters, because most of the movies he really kind of doesn't. Even in the second movie, he kind of has long hair, but it's not like super long. I mean, do I want him to have long hair? Sure. But that doesn't mean that you have to. Not every Crow fan who dresses like the Crow has long hair. I mean, there's even a new Crow film called The Crow Days of Sodom coming out in October that's sort of a fan project. I've interviewed that director a long time ago, and he's a really cool dude. And that fan project, he don't have long hair. It don't matter. It even looks visually stunning. Does it look better than this? No, because they're two different films. That's more in the lines of the original franchise. This is trying something completely new, but also paying respect to what came before. And I really like the movie.
I believe two souls are drawn to each other. And if they don't meet in one life, they'll find each other in the next.
The crow will guide you to put the wrong things right.
I'm gonna kill them. Every single one of them.
Why don't you tell me what you want from me?
My soul for hers.
You can't bring her back.
I love you forever.
The Crow. Experience it in IMAX August 23rd.